title of this is like, who is there to awaken and to what? Yeah. It's a good question to ask. Yeah. Now, that which asked that question and that which is going to respond, neither of them are us. That's pretty nice, eh? It's really true. If you had someone that was, what do they call it? Was presenting themselves to be another person, the whole shebang would be dismissed if you got them in the same room at the same time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if the one's saying it's Bill and then there's another one saying it's Bill, if you got the two Bills in the same room at the same time, there would be a negation, so to speak. Yeah. In a weird way. So that's sort of like the self-inquiry, I feel. It's beautiful because when we're speaking about self, we're thinking about something, let's say, foreign to us. So inquiring of that foreign to us, we did it. If you don't mind, I want to go do because I'm still on fire about something that happened today with the recovery meeting. So this happens a lot where without knowing it, a lot of stuff goes on, and then maybe life interrupts you somehow. You come to some ideas or something's, you go to jail or you're in the drunk tank, and the next day there's a reckoning and you start seeing what you used to look from without knowing it. You didn't have any idea. And now there seems to be some self-knowledge. So you're starting to have knowledge of self. Seemingly, you think it's knowledge of self. Or there's just thinking it's knowledge of self. And then that which was not being observed is now observed. And now it's left its sort of the carcass that could be observed and is now taking the role of being the observer, right? So now, if you keep studying this you that's like a carcass, it's almost as if the butterfly has left the cocoon and the larvae and is somewhere else. And then you start studying the carcass, you're missing the point that it's dead already. Yeah. And now that which is studying it is now that which you're in a state of not knowing. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that you did, you didn't really know what was going on. Then it was brought to your attention, either by a big smack or some kind of sponsoring or whatever. And then that which was not being observed is now being observed, but that which is being observed has migrated to the observer. Yeah. And you keep learning about you. And now there's a you that you're not, but the same fabric of the you that you're not is now the observer of the you that you're not. Yeah. So this is the dilemma that they ran into in recovery. It's so it's such an insight into things, but it was self can't get out of self. Yeah. So you're not knowing that there's certain behaviors. Let's say you didn't know you were selfish or self-centered. Yeah. And then life, some girlfriend or some person you respect pulls you over and goes, you know, Paul, you really take advantage of people. You're self-centered. And the respect you have for that person hits you. Yeah. All right. So now suddenly something that wasn't being observed is now observed. Yeah. Now, what was not being observed, when observed, shifts. It jumps into the observer position. Yeah. And so this is how self can't get out of self, because you think you're out of self looking at self and its destructive nature or selfish nature, and you're trying to produce a condition of less harm and maybe getting better. But unbeknownst to you, that which is talking about it, going over it, is the ghost of the idea of self. Yeah. So you get stuck with self can't get out of self. And in a weird way, Ramana put it as, in this case, the spiritual practices that you think you're using to get out of something is reinforcing that you're in it. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's incredible. Now, I feel this is a live message, alive. Like, it's like, when you think something, the wires in something are dead and then they're not, and they hit and there's a big spark. This to me is like alive. So the idea of that which was unobserved now becoming that which is observed, there's a leap from the observed to the observer. Yeah. And now the observed is self that you want to get out of, and the observer is self, and therefore self can't get out of self. So all this stuff that we're doing can't produce the effect we're hoping for. Yeah. Because without knowing it now, we know a lot about the observed, but we don't know the observer. And then, I mean, how long can you do autopsies on a dead carcass? I mean, don't you think at one point when you saw it was dead, you would lose interest in it? I would hope, yeah. There would be a loss of interest in it now. And the death knell is of two-ness, yeah, not oneness, not just the observed, but the observer, yeah. Not just the one that was known, all the thing you know about yourself, but the knower of that, yeah. Not the seeing of it, the knower of it. Both of them come from the same fabric, which is obscuring, yes. So I know a lot of people I've met over the years that on a level of doing, they've done so much more than I could ever do, probably, concerning transcendence and stuff like that. And yet, at the observed point of view, there's a lot of agitation and dis-ease and discomfort. Because as the observed, they have a vast knowledge of the observed, but they don't see the observed and the observer are of the same cloth. They believe what's observing the observed is their true self, their reality, which I humbly don't believe that to be true. Yeah. Because if that was the case, the message would have been non-one. Yeah. It would have been not two. I mean, not one instead of not two. Why is it not two? Yeah. Because that's which we're not is that which is can be observed and the claiming of the observing of that. Yeah. If only one side of the coin is recognized, you're still getting fooled by the other side of the coin. Yeah. And the freedom from the coin itself, you have ideas of, and they don't seem to be translating. Yeah. Because if there is a freedom or a relief, it's manufactured and you've got to really, really maintain it. Yeah. A lot of new do's and don'ts come up and a lot of settings and a lot of, yeah, I don't see that as freedom from self. That's like a masquerading of a freedom as self. Yeah. So the self-inquiry, something is asking, who am I? And that thing isn't being asked of the thing that's asking, obviously. You're saying, who am I? And you're waiting for a response. And then when I used to do it, in my case, it would say me. The head would go, me. And then I would just, well, who is this me? And then it would go silent. Yeah. And suddenly I had two bills in the same room at the same time. And that which was asking and that which was asked negated themselves. Yeah. Boom. And there was the original face, as they say in Zen, which isn't a face. Yeah. It doesn't show up or depart. And this is the thing. We've been living on a moving train, thinking it's like the real solidness. We have never truly been still in a lot of ways as the action figure. Yeah. We can't recognize what's always here. We need a way of comparing it. So it has to be absent for us to get its presence. And the presence is never absent. So it's sort of like the fish. The reason why it's not getting the water, it's always in the water. Yeah. Now, if it had an experience if it's out of the water, watch how it reacts. When it's on the deck of a boat, it's flipping and flopping. Yeah. It's out of its element with absolutely no knowledge of the element in a way, because it's always been in it. This is a certain case. If we're looking through the bifocal lens, we can pick up what's always here. Ramana said it's always realized. Our idea is we're going to realize something. He says it's always realized. So the idea that we're in a condition of not realization and we're going to become realized, he would negate it. He would say it's always realized. Yeah. So how are you going to realize it if it's always realized? So the non-duality understanding gets to the fabric of all the misunderstandings, I feel. If you just sit with it for a while, it brings you into a new, not you, but it brings a new sense of understanding or logic that there's no way in hell you could have come up with. Because everything you come up with has been branded by the logic and understanding that we seem to be in. Yeah. So everything we meet now gets printed or stamped by something already. In other words, we never see anything. We see everything as we think we see it. Yeah. So that system branding everything, and the only way it can understand is if it can absorb it into the system, and that absorption is the missing of it. It's sort of like collecting glasses of water from the Colorado River, and you feel if you get enough glasses, you captured the Colorado River, but in fact, you've missed its essence, which is the rivering. Yeah, you're not catching the movement of the water. You've got the water. You wrote Colorado River on the glass, and you have a nice presentation sitting there, but you've missed the most important quality, which is the watering. Yes. This is what we do. As a noun, we neutralize the effect of verb. Yeah. Yeah. We don't. It's mechanical. But if you sit in time with the agent of no time, a lot's going to be revealed about time. Yeah. If you sit a while in time with a timeless agent there, you're going to see a lot about time. A lot's going to be revealed. And that where we seem to start every day, even though it's a race at night, as soon as there's a waking up, we start at the supposedly the first square is I'm a thing and I would like to become a more conscious thing, let's say. But that's not where we start. Yeah. That's a manufactured appearance. That's why we don't understand the race. Yeah. So that quality of timelessness hasn't gone anywhere. And it's accessed by how? Not through time, but through what here. What this is the possibility. The presence that we are can access that presence, which is no time. And then there, without all of the starting way after, but just resting in that before, it's going to tell a lot about what we're not. You could, yeah, it's going to be an incredible revealing aspect without intending anything. You're just going to see things. Yeah. And hopefully they're going to allow a shift in time where that which is of time can travel later. Yeah. But the effect of it is not coming from time. It's coming from timelessness, or let's say before. And that before can influence what comes after. Now, the dilemma is what comes after can't influence what's before. Yeah. You're not going to arrive in the presence from others, from another point of time. Yeah. You realize you've never been in a point of time, that you're always the presence. Yeah. It's not that time is going to be used to arrive at no time. Yeah. Time is not essential when it comes to what we are. Like you dream at night. Sometimes you have a dream and you're drinking something, let's say a Slurpee, and you wake up in the morning. You come out of that taking the Slurpee to be real pretty fast, because we have an awakening built into this world, which is morning. Yeah. Now let's say that at the next night you had a 300-year odyssey of a dream. How long does it take to wake up from? The 5-second passing in a dream or the 300 years passing in a dream take the exact same amount of time? No time at all. So time has value only in a system of time. We are not of that system. We are appearing to be in the system. As Jesus says, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. Yeah. You're in this world. He's not arguing with that, but you're not of this world. Yes. He doesn't believe that in means of. The head believes in means of. So where we're appearing in, the head has us of that. Yeah. Jesus disputed that. He says, yes, you are appearing in this world, but you're not of this world. Yeah. This is the distinction of non-duality. Yeah. In does not mean of. So the thing Ramana says, it's a beautiful example when he answered the idea of predetermination or free will is built into predetermination. And he said, basically, the whole sense of free will is predicated on a sense of individuality. The sense of individuality needs the sense of free will to reinforce the sense of individuality. It's important, because if you weren't the doer of this life, whose life would it be anyway? It is the plank of this narration that you're the doer of what moves through you. Yeah. Now he says the whole point is there's a sense of individuality. Does a sense of individuality mean there's an individual? No, it doesn't. The sense of individuality can be manufactured, and then you feel like a something, not being a something. Yeah. And feelings are not facts, as a song from Radiohead would display. Yeah. Just because you feel it doesn't make it so. Exactly. So the sense of individuality is what? Manufactured. Yeah. What does it manufacture? A sense of being an individual. Who has the sense of individuality? This is what catches you. You. Yeah. So when there's the sense of individuality, there's a claiming of it, and that sense of individuality is used to point to a you. And now you gets very concerned about free will and predetermination as the sense of individuality. So he says, truly, the only value these questions have is to point to the sense of individuality. Yes. So hopefully this does not mean you're not going to have a sense of individuality. There's going to be a sense of individuality. If you're waiting as that sense of individuality not to ever have a sense of individuality, you're going to be waiting a long, long, long time. A long time. The point is, there is no individual that has the sense of individuality. Hallelujah. So what you're in doesn't make you of it. Yeah. You're in a sense of individuality, but you're not of a sense of individuality. Now, I believed when I was in this sense of individuality, for me to be free from it, I would have to have absolutely no sense of individuality, no thoughts, nothing like this. It was totally bogus. You're not the one who's having the thoughts. You're a thought in and of itself. Yeah. So it sets requirements that are not necessary. This is the open secret, the gateless gate. What's the point of a gate if it's gateless? Exactly. Can an openness be a secret? No. Exactly. So hopefully in this space, we're really directing something towards the of, not the in. You know what I mean? We want to miss the in's mitt and just hit the of, because the of is already in a condition of knowing. It doesn't need to learn a fucking thing. Yeah. All it needs to see is something that it's not. As soon as its attention and interest that's given to it, because it's somehow represented as you, gets withdrawn, that's basically it. Yes. And then see what happens. You'll probably have, lately, my days seem like epics. I've been like, it seems like this Tuesday has been 220 years. Yeah. Every second, breath. I can feel the blood move, the heart beating. It's just been, it's just unbelievable. And then some other times, it seems to be a speediness. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if I ever thought I got ripped off in the previous 70 years, I'm getting it all back now. So every day is like an era, ERA. It's like a whole fucking Tuesday is like 1993 and Wednesday's 2024. It's it's incredible. So how time can be manipulated and played with shows you something. Yeah. It's a magic trick. And the magician is not time, it's us. Yes. So, yeah. Not two. What does it mean as an active invitation? Does it mean to study the duality of what appears, or maybe realize the duality of what appears is projected from a duality that we're living as? We're not in a world of duality. It's an appearance. That's how we're seeing it, because it's being projected through a dual lens. Yeah. That's the value of seeing it outside when it's applied to here. If it doesn't apply to here and you become a professor of duality, I just don't see the value in it. Yeah. Someone else will get a lot of value of it. The professor may not. Yeah. So dualism, I think, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I may be mistaking it. But let's just say the activity of us in a day moves from subject to object, subject to object. Yes, we can agree with that. Sometimes you're thought about, that would make you an object. Sometimes you're the thinker, that would make you the subject, so to speak. Yeah. 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 It's amazing that people could actually believe a thing is making no things. Have you ever seen a thought on the street? Did you catch a big whopper of a thought, like a mackerel or something? Yet, but here, a base thing that shits and fucking does tons of stuff is actually the doer of a subtle activity that it doesn't know where it started or where it came from and can't determine when it's going to disappear. But God damn it, these are my thoughts. Ah. I don't care what you say. These are my thoughts. I walked into recovery thinking these were my thoughts. They had been used to spin a cocoon where whatever I am was confined in this body apparition as the idea of terminal uniqueness had set in. No one had my thoughts. No one. No one felt like I ever did. And no one did the heinous things that I had come about to do. Boy, was I once again wrong. Oops. So begrudgingly, I have to admit some of them are alcoholic thoughts. But I know there's a vast field that are mine still. And if I could just segregate the alcoholic thoughts and not let it get infect the other sheep thoughts. There is an easier, softer way. There is. Yeah. If you think you're a thing, surrender. As Ramana said, his advice would be two possibilities. Check out the origin of your misery, probably see it's not you. Or if that's too overwhelming and you're outmatched in life, that thy will is done. Yes? Just surrender. Now, why would you think, in a sense, there would be almost two answers to supposedly one thing? Because the action figure is in its own little Rome and has to render unto Caesar's what Caesar's. And then there's the ofness of we are, which is who is there to surrender unto what? Yes? But don't mix them up. Don't think the action figure is the absolute, nor the absolute is the action figure. The action figure is in a world of appearances. Yeah? The world of uncaused effects, just like what happens at night. And in the dream, you believe the tiger in the dream is a real tiger because you feel like you're real in the dream. And therefore, you have a huge amount of anxiety comes over the fact the tiger is moving closer and closer to you. And therefore, and all your chanting, I'm not a this or that, isn't working. You're scared shit that it's going to attack you. And then suddenly you wake up and the whole thing is over. Yeah. The reality of it is dismissed. As soon as what? The tiger goes away? No, you waking up. Don't you get it in a sense? So the action figure has its own sort of dimension. Doesn't mean it's unimportant or more important. It just means you have to render unto it certain things, or its loudness of discomfort and irritability are going to produce effects that are going to be difficult to neglect or not see. So for me, the action figure had to be corrected first, and then possibilities showed up. It would have been like trying to land a 747 in my driveway. I didn't have a long enough tarmac for any fucking thing of substance to land. But once that infestation was taken care of and I was given a way of life, then possibilities It was the right time and the right place to have a message that has nothing to do with time and place. Yeah. Yeah. And I had seen enough under the influence of the addiction, hadn't killed me, which it can't, the spirit. And the understanding of non-duality played the role of like Johnny come lately. Yeah, something arrived and I realized a lot about what I was not understanding before. I was in a state of pretty much constant without knowing it. And now I have been given knowledge of that. Yeah. Which I hope I can partake in a distribution of it from you to me and me to you. Yeah. Yeah. Because obviously this is a meal that's better shared in a sense. Yeah. So, all right. That's it. Thank you for letting me rant. This thing is, I'm hoping one day it's going to be like it's only going to take 3 seconds in time to point it out like a piece of amber, and you finally see that which was always in it. Yeah. But until then, yeah, this is sort of like an asylum for me. But it's sort of like humbly, I may be going crazy. I probably am in some levels, but stuff is getting winnowed down, you know? I didn't know it would have been whittled down as much as it's getting. Yeah. Like I almost can see the contours of bone underneath the fake skin, so to speak. It's a trip. Today was one of those days that something came barreling in, and it's one glance from this changes the whole landscape. It's pretty amazing. It's really amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Anyone wants to ask anything or share or whatever?
Yeah. All right. Paul, Lynn had her hand up. Would you still have a question then? Or
I put my hand down because I wanted to hear Paul say more about what he was just saying
Oh, I just got
about
the message from.
being winnowed down more.
Well, this is, the action figure has a seed assignment. I come to these things every week. Yeah, these satsang. Doesn't matter what the title is, it's a satsang, I feel. I like that word. Meaning company of truth. Sat means truth, sang is community or company, yeah, or association. So I like that. And some days as I come, something in the panoramic presentation is seen more. Yeah. There's sort of like, let's look at this. And then it's almost like a dive bomber. You dive into it and then stuff's revealed. And then it goes back to the panoramic. And it's sort of like there's the ocean. Everything's cool. Then you dive and you get a pearl and you bring out that pearl and you check it out. And then you throw it back in the ocean. Yeah. And so see, whatever something the head makes up eventually is going to be whittled down to nothing, so maybe that's the process, a little of it. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's beautifully said.
Yeah. So
thank you.
And it's because really of the seed assignment. Yeah. It is because
I think it happens to all of us, though.
Yes.
If we're willing to, if that's what we want.
Yes, like Kathleen, I think, shared that she's learning without knowing it. Yeah, it's just sitting and stuff. This happens. It's sort of like like going or out under the surface, and then you see something that you didn't see the last 4 times you went under the surface. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So something sort of points you to something. And this is, I've been on this riff about the two-ness of things, and the essence of the two-ness that's projected is coming from the salt and pepper shaker that we are. Yeah. From subject, object to object, subject. And we don't share this to get out of it. We
Right.
share it to see that you're not in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so it's not about doing anything about it. You may be motivated to or not. That's not up. I'm not following that. What I'm just saying is an awareness of it and then presenting it and see where it goes. Yeah. Yeah. And
I've been experiencing that it just happens. I'm it just happens.
yeah.
The
Yes.
Yeah, it just keeps on happening. Like what I think you said, Kathleen said.
Yes. Yes. I mean, the best way is, through osmosis, obviously. You're looking at the Zoom, but it's coming from the seat you're on, really. Yeah. So thank you, Lynn. Yeah. Just like when you would have the thing, the cloud, and then every week the cloud would get smaller and the sky, and then it came to a point that it was all sky. Yeah. Yeah. Now, was it all sky to begin with? Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's this beautiful artistic expression of like picking some clouds out of a speckless sky, fucking far out.
And you said, Lindy, she thinks she's the cloud, but she's the sky. It was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So this is it. So, and that doesn't mean you don't enjoy the cloud,
It was
but
a beautiful pink cloud.
yeah, you enjoy the cloud from the sky. Yeah. Cloud is defined as a cloud. The sky has an open. Yes. Yeah. So great. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, hey, Paul, Annette had asked a question in the chat, and I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but I'll ask it here. Can you go over what you were saying about being an agent of time, being still?
Being an agent of time.
Yes,
Well,
about being still.
the action figure is an action figure in appearance only. Yes. But in its case, anything it gets, hears or something else sort of triggers, and I'm either going to take an action or stop taking an action. Yeah. Because it's like that, the idea, if you're a hammer, you see everything as a nail. Yeah. So if you're seeing everything through an action figure, you're going to think you're going to have to act yourself or do yourself into a condition. But you can't apply that to the inherent condition. Yes. Because you are already that condition. So you can't do yourself into it. So where's the value of trying to do yourself into it? The failure of it all. So when you fail to finally arrive at that place you really wanted to get to, after all the frustration and blaming yourself or the teacher or whatever, there's a moment where you recognize, hallelujah, I can't arrive because I never left. Yeah. Now that is a substantial, that's like if the earth has 11 plate tectonics, 11 tectonic plates, one of them or two of them have really just locked in. Yeah. Yeah. So that is, so you recognize the action figure is never going to become a non-action figure. That's not, this isn't, it only appears to be in this place where that's appearing. It doesn't go anywhere else. Yes. We're not of thingness. We're in seemingly thingness, but we're not of thingness. So to recognize a lot of what the head has poured a lot of personalness into the mechanical action of almost like a spacesuit. Yeah. And every time, which is not hard, for a revelation to show you, all of you, you will feel like you didn't get enough of it because a lot of what you call you isn't getting it. A lot of it that isn't getting it is not you. Yeah. It doesn't have the capacity to get it because it only thinks within a system. Yeah. As a thinker, as an action figure. This is what I've met a lot of people. They have gotten the invitation many times, and they've disqualified themselves by a belief that because something's doing the same thing it did before they were enlightened, they're not really enlightened. Yes? As if that what they're describing is them. It's not them. Yeah? Even if you want to believe you have choice, it's quite minimal. You don't have choice to digest your food at a certain time. You don't have choice. Tons of shit. Beating the heart, the blood, everything seems to be mostly on automatic. Because something knew better than to give you any true choice. So, truly. Because you would never have made it past the first 3 minutes. We all would have died because you would have been distracted and stopped beating the heart. So we have been set on automatic, yet we're drenched in a personal feeling that we're doing it all. It's not, it's made up. Yeah. Nothing right or wrong with it. It's just, it's like being on a ride. Yeah. It's like surround sound. It's really believable. Well, what would you expect from a reality such as us? If we're going to dive into a movie, it's going to fucking seem to be fucking real. Yeah. You bought the platinum ticket. So why are you complaining? You knew everything. You wanted not to know everything. Now you've gotten your wish. I want my money back. No, it was a deal. Yeah, a contract. So, yeah, so yeah, we joke around like, oh, I have to leave this early because I forgot to digest the burrito from last night. Like so I've got weeks of digesting to do. I have to take a digesting fucking retreat. It sounds funny, but isn't it funnier when you believe you're the one thinking these thoughts? That's, to me, much more funny than thinking you're the digester of the food. Seriously. To have a thing, the doer of a no thing, which is thoughts, is just mind-boggling. I mean, that's like, that's really, yeah. So, I don't know. I would stop looking at the trees and check out the forest. The forest in this situation is the idea of being the thinker. Yeah. And then missing that there's an idea that you're the thinker, you look at all the trees with an idea these are good and bad, on and forth, but you miss the forest. There is no thinker. Yeah. I had it, luckily, a chunk of that was revealed to me in recovery, where I went to meetings and people shared their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions in life. And I could only come to two conclusions. How did these people get my thoughts? Or they're not my thoughts. Yeah. And then with that little bit, like we were talking about the winnowing down, it brought me to the point of a thought disguised as the thinker. Yeah. Do you think the thoughts are going to listen to another thought? fucking know. They're like a herd of cats. Yeah. You think they should listen because you're presented as a thinker, but you're not. Yeah. You're just another thought. So, yeah, this has brought a lot of relief. And to me, that's the gold standard in my case. Yeah. If something brings a stabilized relief from a volatile trying to balance unbalanceable conditions, that's my sign that something's is true in a sense. The relief is for me the gold standard. So knowing is not the gold standard. Relief is the gold standard. Yeah. Yeah. I've been relieved of knowing, really, a lot. I've been relieved of the need to be liberated. I've been relieved of the need to know or understand. I've been relieved of all that. I do not believe the action figure can go past its pay scale. I just don't. And a lot of shit is unknowable, incomprehensible, unknowable, unattainable to this action figure. Thank God we're not an action figure. Yeah. Yeah. So all I wanted really to this point was to realize I didn't even know then. Something revealed that I'm not this long-lasting, independent, separate entity. I don't know what I am, but I'm not this, that. And that's really worked over the years. Yeah. And then more was revealed about what I'm not, literally. Yeah. Yeah. And my belief was so many things would have to be removed for things to be okay. That was a bogus understanding. Yeah. That there were so many requirements for me to be able to receive what I already am was totally blown out of the water. I just, the idea of getting into the moment blown out of the water. I don't see how you can ever be out of a moment. And so a lot of things, a lot of ships on the horizon got torpedoed and they sunk. Yeah. 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 Without trying to sink them. Yeah. They just went. Yeah. I tell you something, if you stare long enough, things change. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're here in this moment and you look at things, you see things. Yeah. 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 All right. Anyone else? Oh, who wanted me to go over what? What was it? Michael, I'm
It
sorry,
was,
I went off the reservation there. What was it?
you touched on it, Bob.
I did?
But Annette wanted, can you go over what you were saying about being an agent of time, being still? I think you covered it well.
I think you covered it. Yeah, thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. You're not an agent of time. This is an appearance in time. It needs time to appear. Yeah. If you ever read a fundamental aspect of dreaming in certain let's say groups, they say the foundation of dreaming would be space and time. Yeah. So to see something, you need space to have it appear in. Yeah. So time is needed to see it, and the space is needed for it to be able to appear. So there's a space to appear, and then it takes time to see it. Yes. This is the dream mechanism. So all the dreaming is based on space and time. Yeah. Now, to me, the most influential is time. Because time is, to me, it's almost the 80% of the magician's wand is time. Yeah. The way self gets reaffirmed is through time. So in time, your head says, I was Paul, and I'm gonna be Paul, and then its logic is, therefore I am Paul. Yeah. So it pictures me as a thing in the past, and calls that Paul, and it's all happening in the present moment. Nothing else ever happens other than the present moment. And then in the present moment, it thinks about a future condition that Paul could have as a body. So I was Paul. Definitely, that's what the system believes. I will be Paul. That's definitely what the system believes. And then it slips you a Mickey, so to speak. Therefore, I am Paul. Now, that logic doesn't make sense. Yeah. I appear in time. I appear more in time. Therefore, I am appearing in no time. No. Yeah. The present moment is no time. Yes. So I was Paul. I will be Paul. Or why would I be fucking worrying about it? I will be Paul. Therefore, I am Paul. And why do you think the head obsesses over the idea of you? That reinforces the identification as that idea. Yes? You think a lot of your obsessions make no sense. They're being used to reinforce this fucking idea that you're a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. And it constantly needs reinforcement. That's why the head is quite busy all the time. When you hit what you are, it tells you it's always been this way. There's no advertising. There's no fucking 800 bandwidths of downloading about you were and you will be. It just stands alone on the truth of the situation. Yeah, I've always been this way. Yeah, so I hope that helped or whatever. Let's say goodbye, I guess, Michael, Stacy. Yeah. Let's say goodbye to Lynn. Lynn B, thank you for all the support and everyone here. Lending each other our interest and attention. Yeah. It's not ours anyway, but a lending of it. So Mike Clark, I can't see your head because of this thing, but let's see. There you go. I can now. Nice to see you, Mike. Judy Lovins, as always. Judy Lovins is a name that really captures the person, I feel. Yeah. Judy Lovins. Can you imagine? I mean, how could you argue if you had to say Judy Lovins? I figure as you went over the word Lovins, everything would chill out. Yeah. I don't know. John, Florida, my main man. Yeah. Eating it up, John, eh? Yes. No matter
Thanks,
how
Paul.
much we serve, no matter how much we serve, you digest it. That's good.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You're welcome, bro. Kathleen? Yeah. Nick in Sydney. Ah, Sydney, Australia. Yes. Nice to meet you, Nick.
Yeah, first time here. Thanks, Paul, and thanks everyone. It was really really good. I've been watching on YouTube for a while and then came along. So yeah, really appreciate it.
Oh, great. Well, thank you, bro. I'm yeah. Eric. Eric. Nice to see you. You don't have a hat on, Eric, today, eh?
Oh, the other Eric.
Oh, this one, yeah. Now he does. All right. I caught you without a hat on, bro. Wow. We got Susan H. from Cape Cod. Thank you for all the support, Susan, on a lot of levels. Yeah. We got Annette. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome, Annette. Mr. Lowe. Mia. Nice to see you, honey. I think you're in the South Bay, yes? All right. El Hombre Sin Nombra. Is this another name for Zarathustra? What were you before? Xenophile. Alan Olson, my man. Yeah. The man that will never get it. Seems quite happy about that. That's good. We got Zoe, not from Japan. Wow. You don't look like how I remember Zoe. That was a transformation. Wow, amazing. Esther. Nice to see you, Esther. You're smiling. You're as bright as the sun. Sid. Ben. I think I got everyone. No, Stephanie. David and Natalie. Dhruv. Beautiful name. Devilapali. Phone number. Let me put this on. Hey, thank you, everyone. Thanks. It's a pleasure to sit with everyone here. And I'm looking forward to see you again. Tomorrow is 7 o'clock Western time. Yeah. See ya. Bye-bye.